I've got the ingredients in front of me. I've got a big slab of my meat here. It's just a 60-litre plastic poly bin with a lid. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rick, Lifestyle and Tech. Something a bit different today. It's a little bit echoey in here, so sorry about the sound, but you know, when I'm out on my trails and doing my videos for hiking and all the lovely places I go, I take a lot of snacks and haven't really shown them in the video. I've shown a few packets of lollies and things, but there's one thing that I take, and it's biltong. It's my own homemade biltong, because the stuff's so damn expensive to buy in the shops. Tiny little packets, you know, 30 grams, you know, $9–10. It's just ridiculous in price. So I did a bit of looking around on the net a while back, and I made some, and it came out alright. So it's been a little while since I did any. Didn't take any on the last hike I did down south, but I thought, yeah, it's time. The weather's still nice and hot and warm, so it's a good time to be drying it off. So yeah, we'll make some homemade biltong. I haven't got a secret recipe. It's pretty much the same as you'll find on the net for any biltong recipe, but I do a couple of extra things. I've got the ingredients in front of me. I've got a big slab of my meat here. I've got two cameras going, so if I'm looking away on one, don't worry. And this is basically, normally I'd use silverside, you know, but I couldn't find any. But any of the cut from the hindquarter that's a top end cut is good. Silverside's really good, that's popular. And this one is actually rump. It's a big chunk of rump. So yeah, it's a big piece, but this is big enough. So in my recipe, obviously got the meat. The big main ingredient, of course, is a bit of red wine vinegar. The amounts I use for this particular recipe, I'll use a couple of cups of red wine vinegar. I'll put it up in the description anyway. You know, the amounts of things that I use, and you can vary it depending on your taste. But this big chunk of meat, I'll need a good couple of cups of red wine vinegar to marinate it in. I'm going to throw in a little bit of Pinot Noir, beautiful New Zealand Pinot Noir wine, just for a bit of warmth. And some people might balk at this a bit because it's not Worcester sauce, and that is really popular in these recipes. But I actually I like to use a bit of thick soy. Just gives it a little bit of oomph. You know, so I've kind of got a sweet sour thing going on, and of course chili flakes. They're going to get ground up. About a quarter cup of those, and of course whole coriander, of which I'm actually toasting. So I've got a couple of cups of ground coriander. Well, these are actually whole coriander seeds, sorry. So I'm going to put them in the oven, toast them up. I'll do that now. Welcome to my kitchen, by the way. So I'll put those in there, maybe 10 minutes under 150 degrees, something like that, on grill. Toast them up, just brings the flavour out. And then I'm going to put them in my little grinder here, grind them all up into a powder. And I also like to throw in some peppercorns. Are popular. I didn't have any. The next best thing is cloves. So I use cloves, they give it a really good flavour. The only thing with this is you do have to grind them up really well because they have got the tiny little stalks on them. So dried cloves, of course. So that's basically the ingredients. So I'll wait for these puppies to toast up in the oven, and we'll see you in a little while. That's enough. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, you know, for my texture. So it's enough to really sink into the meat, marinate it without dropping off. If you leave them just whole and you don't blitz them a wee bit, when you hang the meat up after you've been marinating it, it's time to hang it up in your box. A lot of the coriander, but they'll fall off as it dries, and you lose a bit of that flavour. So you blitz them up pretty well. I'm using nearly a cup of chili flakes here because I like a bit of oomph in my meat. You're looking good. Good enough. Right, so I've got my meat out. Yeah, she's a fair chunk of rump, this. I quite like rump actually. I haven't used it before, but it's good because it's easy to get the yeah, that sinew off, any silvering in sinew. It's okay to have a bit, but you don't want to be chewing on your biltong that's got a lot of sinew and stuff on it. I'm not an expert butcher here, so some of you are probably looking at it going, oh, you're definitely butchering it, but it's alright. Doesn't have to be perfect. You know, if you watch the videos on YouTube and the guys that do this all the time are really good at it, you know, they recommend cutting into about 1 centimetre thick pieces. I don't know if you can see that. This piece there. So these strips will hang on the hooks in the box. And I like them about 1 centimetre because it does shrink as it dries, of course. So even though that looks a bit on the thick side, it's actually, to me, it's pretty good. Of course, if you cut them too thick, they're going to take days and days to dry out, and they won't dry out nice and evenly. They'll be dried on the outside and chewy and hard, and then still kind of maybe possibly even a bit raw in the middle. So, you know, you've got to think about that when you're cutting the strips. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of cups of this. This is just, you know, it's nothing fancy, this red wine vinegar. Again, I'm going to put half a cup of that. So I'm doing this very much by eye. I've got my rough quantities, but you know, most of it's just by eye. And then I've got my soy sauce. Most people will use Worcester because it's lean parents or something like that, because it's got that sweet tangy flavour. But you know, that's why I'm adding a few of these other things in there. So let's put half of that in there. That's about half. If you haven't got enough liquid marinade, you can always just do some more. Okay, so here we go. So basically, we're going to lay the meat in the marinade, but of course, what I'm going to do first is just now this is probably sacrilege to some of the guys. Some of the guys will say, don't do that. You know, marinate your meat, get it wet in the marinade, and then cover it in this. So here we go. We just pour the last of the marinade over the meat. Beautiful. I'm just using large Ziploc bags. You don't want them leaking in your fridge. There's no clean way to do this, so you just got to get in there and oh, look at that. And what I do, I pour all the juice in afterwards anyway, so you're getting a good coating. Alright, so we'll zip these up. Get them all white down. Clean cloth, not the bench one. And basically, we have 2 big bags of beautiful marinated meat. And we'll put those in the fridge, and I'll come back to those 24 to 36 hours. I'll give them a bit longer this time because I really want these to marinate up well. Should be beautiful. This is my homemade biltong box. So as you can see, it's just a 60 litre plastic poly bin with a lid. wee shower fan on the side here. It's important that you put this on the right way so it draws air through. You don't want it around the other way where it blows air in. It's got to be drawing it through. Simply screw it on there, sealed up with some tape. You can see air vent. I've got bits of mesh down here. I've got large holes drilled on the side, 2 on each side and 2 on the back, so there's 6 holes. Got some mesh over it to stop any flies and midges getting in. And it shouldn't really be glued on. I've just got it sort of taped on, but it does the job. If I turn it around, it's a wee light fitting. Another piece, and so on and so on and so on. And I try and alternate them. You know, I might have 5 pieces on the first one, 4 on the next one, 5 on the next one, so they're, you know, crisscross, so the airflow goes right through. Try and keep them away from the sides because it mucks up the sides and it makes a mess. So anyway, it's kind of what we're looking at. I'll carry on and I'll hang them all. And when it's full, I'll give you a shot out in the garage and we'll plug it in. It's going to sit there for the next 4 or 5 days until it's basically dried. And I'll keep checking it. I'll check it every day. I probably won't need the light because the garage is really warm. Temperatures here are still really warm, so I probably won't even need the light. It's more for winter. But it's good drying weather now, so we'll see you in a wee while.